All right, welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Boston Boys Sports Podcast. I, of course, am the King of Carver. I am one of your hosts. I am Eli Horrigan. I'm here with that best beard in the business. That's Kiefer Bontos. Beard, what's up, my guy?
Oh, back again, buddy. Back again. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, man. It looks like the Celtics are up right now. Finally, they're doing a little bit better. We have a new coach in New England for the Patriots. And I'm feeling really positive about the Red Sox as well. So it's actually a good time again to be a Boston sports fan. I'm thinking we're on the up and up. But before we jump into it, I do want to say we are partnered with Jones and for Sports. We make sports better. Check them out on X. Check them out on Instagram. Check them out on YouTube. They're putting out quality content every single day, as are we at Hub Boy Sports. Argue with Stevie, who is absent. Can't wait to get him back, all three of us, because it's just always better when we have someone to argue with. But in any event, why don't we jump right into the new coach of the New England Patriots? I think you called it, actually, Kiefer, before it happened. Once they said they were going to interview him, I think you said it's Vrabel. They don't need to interview anyone else. How do you feel about the Vrabel signing?
Honestly, I like it, and I like it because of that video I sent you last night with Taylor Lewan. Did you guys end up
That was,
watching that video?
yeah, it was a really good video.
I knew they were going to go with him. I knew he would make people accountable for their stuff, but this is a uh, big one.
Yeah,
Um,
he's a proven head coach too. I mean, I like Steve and probably like you. Not that we didn't want Vrabel, but I wanted an offensive-minded coach. But I like Mike Vrabel, the coach. I do.
I do. You know what it is about him? He has and I hate saying this because they've been saying it all over the radio today. He has Bill Belichick esque stuff about him. How they explain it? He makes everybody accountable. Everybody has to know everybody's position. Nobody has a guaranteed spot on this team right now. You have
Yeah.
to earn a spot to play with Vrabel. He'll get rid of you faster than Belichick got rid of people. So I think that fire that coming into it is going to show you some stuff. You know what I mean?
I agree with you. I think, and I think part of their problem this year was their discipline. They didn't seem to have a lot of discipline, and I think immediately Mike Vrabel brings that. He's a disciplined guy, and there's actually really no coaching tie with Bill Belichick. He never coached with Belichick. He was at Ohio State, and then he was in Tennessee. So there's really the only tie to Belichick is he played for Belichick. So I know what you're saying. He's got that. He's a defensive minded guy. I hope he brings in a good offensive coordinator. I don't want Josh McDaniels. I know you like Josh McDaniels. I just think anybody that was here with Brady is a product of Brady's success.
So I say the same thing, but I heard a thing today that Brady actually talked about Josh on podcasts and stuff like that, and he says that Josh knows how to coach an offense. It wasn't all him in the beginning.
I don't think Josh doesn't know how to coach an offense. He's clearly capable. You don't get to the NFL for being a bad coach. You obviously know something about the game, but Brady likes Josh. He's not going to badmouth Josh. I don't expect him to. But Brady also had success under Charlie Weiss. He had success under Bill O'Brien. I mean, he might not have won a Super Bowl with O'Brien, but Brady is the cure-all, and I've said it time and time again on this podcast. Like when you had Tom Brady, you could have Rashay Caldwell at wide receiver and David Givens, and the list goes on and on and on. You could make mistakes in the first and second round. We drafted Razai Dowling too early. Chad Jackson was too early, but you had Tom Brady, and that was a constant. You don't have Tom Brady anymore. I don't hate the Mike Vrabel signing too. And I heard on the radio today, and this is something I was happy to hear, is they said Mike Vrabel is going to have a lot of say in who they draft. Elliot Wolf and the scouts are going to bring him the tape, what they think about players, but ultimately it's going to come down to who Mike Vrabel wants to pick.
Well, that's that too. And I heard that he brought in his guy that he wanted to be the GM in Tennessee, and they went the other way. That says he's now the head player of personnel,
Yeah.
or whatever the term was for him. But the whole point of bringing him in now is that if he doesn't like how he Wolf GMs, he's going to have the green light to fire him next year.
Yes. And I think that's important because now this is going to tell you if him and Wolf can actually work together. Because now Wolf, if there's a blow to his ego and there's a butting of the heads, Mike Vrabel is going to win that match, and Elliot Wolf will be out. And I'm a big fan of you. It's fine to have a GM who has say, and you have scouts, but ultimately your coach needs to want these players too. I mean, you saw what happened in Miami with Tua and Brian Flores. Flores did not want Tua, and that was Flores's demise.
It was, and it's actually hurt his chances a lot within the NFL because of all the stuff he said after it. But well, neither here nor there.
Yeah,
Vrabel, I thought was the right signing. I would have loved, and we've been over this 1,000 times. I would have loved a Cliff Kingsbury. I would have liked Ben Johnson. I
yeah,
would have liked an offensive-minded coach to pair with May. If Vrabel can control the team to just play their game and play football, then finding the right OC for Drake May is just going to help stretch it along. I think Drake May is the quarterback. I'm not even going to lie anymore about it.
yeah. I agree with you. I think you have something with Drake May. Now, obviously, you have to build a really good offense around him too. I love what you had sent the other night too about you know who they should get in free agency and
Oh, the free agency and then draft Carter. Yep.
yeah, draft Carter. Because I actually the more I watch stuff on Abdul Carter, dude, he is filthy and he's all over the field.
Oh, he's again, Steve. It was either you or Steve that said it best that day. You said not everybody at Penn State gets to wear number 11.
Oh yeah, Stevie said that.
And then you have LeVar Arrington, Micah Parsons. A special player wears that. I think Abdul Kader is a special player. I've watched him every game I could this year that he was in, and he is a football player, man.
Yeah,
So that I wouldn't be upset with picking him at 4. And then getting 2 tackles. I can't remember the names off the top of my head who it was,
yeah,
but the 2 tackles that they had are legitimate starters in the NFL. And
yeah,
even if they are a little older, I don't care. Take the old, and then draft guys. Another thing is they need to find an old line coach, and I actually listened to that on Felger and Massey. There was someone that used to cover Tennessee, and his offensive line weren't always great in Tennessee.
yeah.
He had Derrick Henry. So they were like, I don't know, is he going to call Dante and try to get him out of retirement? I don't think he's coming out of retirement, but didn't Dante have an assistant somewhere, buddy? Like,
It's someone he imparted some wisdom to. Like, can we figure this out? Because if you figure out the line, I'm okay with getting older offensive linemen. I'm okay with spending money on a 33-year-old offensive lineman. You know why? Because in the NFL, offensive linemen who are bigger guys, you don't need to have the fastest offensive line. This isn't wide receiver or running back where they lose a step. I need a big, powerful guy to protect my quarterback and make a hole. So yeah, you can afford to pay an older tackle as long as he's the right guy and the right fit. You got to pick your scheme. And again, we need to find out who Vrabel's offensive coordinator is. But I like the idea, like, let's let Drake May throw it more. We saw something. He's going to clean up the interceptions. We've talked about that. But I think what you've seen is Drake May can play. And now at this point, they should probably pull Green Bay Packers and find a way to get a team to bite on Joe Milton.
you know what? There's actually been thousands of reports of I won't say thousands, but I've read 1,000 articles about teams actually interested in Joe Milton. Quarterback draft is not strong in the draft this year. The play is not.
No, I read that like GMs don't even have Shedeur Sanders as a first-round draft grade, and he's going to go in the first round.
You know what they were saying too is remember that kid at Ole Miss, Jackson Dart?
Yeah, he's at Ole Miss.
So I heard he joined. He just submitted for the draft.
Yep.
And that scouts think that he could be that guy that jumps up into the top 10 from his combine stuff.
Yeah. Somebody compared him when I read it, and I thought, wow, that's a stretch. They were like, he could have a Jaden Daniels ascent.
That's what it was. I read that one too. Yep.
And I was like, really? Like, I don't know. I don't see that.
So, oh no, I don't see that. The kid, that kid's just, he's like, well, we can get to that later, but that kid's unreal. His fourth quarter, he has like pure clutchness. It's insane. But if we were talking about if we can get the older guys, you could draft a legit edge rusher. You have Keon White. It might open up Keon White more. Hopefully, Barmore comes back next year fully healthy. There's your guys right there.
Yeah.
You have the right pieces, and Vrabel always had a good defense. His defense was never bad. His lines were ranked bad. From what I heard today, it gave you like the rankings of their offensive lines or the last 4 years of or whatever it was of him in Tennessee.
Yeah.
And then they said that they kind of pushed away from Derrick Henry near the end of Tennessee. So, and it wasn't so much him. He had a new offense. He basically took a guy as the OC, so Nathaniel Hackett couldn't take him.
Yeah.
So it's just a tough situation.
It'll be interesting to see because Mike Vrabel, I believe at Tennessee, he ran a 3-4. I assume he's going to run a 3-4 here.
Yep.
If you draft Carter and you have Carter White on and two sides and Barmore comes back, you have also a stud in Christian Gonzalez, who's turned out to be a really good corner in the league. Show me a second year or really a third year, but show me 2 consistent years of that play, and I'll say you have a great corner. I'm not a Duggar fan, but you paid him, so he's probably going to be there. I like Jabril Peppers. Your linebacking core has got to be strong, and Mike Vrabel was a linebacker, so I can only imagine like Taki was terrible. Like Tavai took a step back, and I'm so off of Tavai too. After him crying to the media, basically that the fans should just support him. We talked about that the last time. Like we also need some really good linebackers because I don't. It's an offensive league, but
you get Bentley back too.
And Bentley back. No, I know. I'm just in this grand scheme of thing. I want my 2 outside linebackers to be physical, fast outside linebackers. And I don't know who it is. I don't know if there's guys on the roster that they like, free agency or the draft. But my point is, I still think you can win with defense in the league. It's not as easy, but you have a defensive head coach now who's a good coach as far as I'm concerned. And if you bring in Abdul Carter and you have Christian Gonzalez and Keon White can take another step forward and Barmore's back, like I don't see why you can't have a good defense. And then your offense grows too. The problem is, and I think I just have a feeling that Kraft is going to open up the wallet this year.
I do, and I know what I think is going to happen, and I read this too, was that Vrabel talked about AJ Brown and how he's developed mentally and stuff. You hear rumors that AJ Brown cried in his draft when the Patriots passed him.
Yeah.
If we can make a trade for AJ Brown and be the centerfold, he won't complain about targets. He's gonna get them. He's gonna get. I mean, I mentioned Devonta Smith before, but Brown's a legitimate guy that you could actually go trade for. He's played with Vrabel, and you're gonna get him the targets.
So I'll say this right now. You're hearing it here first for the first time. This is not informed AJ Brown to the Patriots.
AJ Brown to the Patriots.
I listen. I can't. If that comes true, you go buy a lottery ticket. Imagine the number 1 receiver on a Super Bowl contender in the offseason gets traded here. I mean, crazier things have happened. I don't know if it happens, but
their passing's down. You know how he complains about not getting yards and targets. Like he's the guy that he was still their leading receiver. It's the point that he wanted to be with New England. Huh?
He was reading a book on the sideline last weekend.
That's what I'm saying. He wanted to play New England, buddy. And I was the one going, let's go for Smith. If they got Brown, let's do it. But then you look at everything. They were run heavy. Their quarterback ran until he got hurt in week 16 or whatever it was. They really did. They ran a lot this year, and they tried to, and they did that to minimize the stuff that happened last year with Hurts.
Yeah. And obviously there's a lot of holes in New England. We're talking dream scenario and fantasy scenarios, like if they fix the offensive line, if they can fix the linebacker core, if they get a wide receiver. But I think it's 133 million they have in cap space. I do believe bringing in like Gerard Mayo was set up to fail. Like I love Gerard Mayo, the player, and he just wasn't ready to be a head coach. And I said it last week too. It's like It's like taking a kid from med school and saying, all right, you're just going to go do surgery today. He's not ready for it. Gerard wasn't ready for it, and he became a scapegoat here. But really, the root of the problem is Robert Kraft. You haven't spent on this team. You wouldn't spend when it was Tom Brady. Tom Brady bought into the system and took deal after deal after deal. And I'm sure there was backroom money that was exchanged that we'll never know about. But they wouldn't pay Tom Brady and guys like that. So now you're seeing what it looks like when you don't have Tom Brady here, and it's got consistently worse. So I do feel like you brought in Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel's a no nonsense guy. I can't imagine he's going to go into Robert Kraft and say, yeah, I can win you 10 games and we can make a playoff bid with nothing. He's going to tell them straight, you need to spend money. We need to spend money. If we don't spend money on good players, I promise you, we will be a 3 to 5 win team again.
We will. And seeing the reports, it's just you're hoping Vrabel is going to turn it around. I mean, he's going to need a year or two to make him a legit contender. He might need 3, but I want to see. And we have one of the weakest schedules next year. I want to see 7 wins next year.
I was going to say, what do you think for next year? I think the season would be a fail if you don't win 7 games next year.
Oh, it's definitely a fail, and this all goes back to who's the OC. We're still in the beginning stages of stuff. I'm just my cousin Sean, me and him have an argument. I could see 7 to 9 wins. I could see it. Well, no, 7 maybe 9. I don't think I see 9 the first year unless you see a major overhaul in free agency, drafting, trading for players. I just don't see 9 right away.
There is a path. I'm with your cousin. There's a path to 9-10 wins, but that path is hitting on draft picks. You can't hit on just the number 4 overall pick and then everything else is a miss. You hit on draft picks and you spend money in free agency and you make the right moves to bring in a line. You brought in the coach that you wanted last year and you didn't get for some reason. I don't know if Vrabel just didn't want to coach or what, but you brought in the coach that you want. You drafted your first round. You drafted your quarterback. You have to hit on draft picks this year, and you have to spend in free agency. If the schedule is weak as weak as we think it's going to be, the Dolphins are taking a step back. I don't think Tyreek's going to be there, and even if he is, Tua is not. I mean, they sat out Tua in a game in which they were fighting for a playoff spot. Tyreek Hill quit on them in the third. The New York Jets are a mess, as always. And Buffalo's good. Buffalo's going to be there. But there's a path to 10 wins if you spend money and you draft right, if you have a weak schedule. There just is. You could beat the New York Jets twice. You should be able to split with Miami if they get worse. But it's Buffalo's division. Buffalo's probably going to beat you. But some of these other games, you should win them. And if you win 7 games, I think it's a successful season, a step in the right direction. You can win 9 games if you make the right move.
If you make the right moves. And that's what I said too. If you make the right moves. I can't wait to see what happens. I can't wait to see what he does. I'm praying to God next year we have more than 6 wins and you start seeing hope for the future. There's been a lot of talk in the NFL about stuff going on. Mayo got an interview with Dallas.
This is why I think the Rooney Rule is garbage in a way. It was put in with good intentions, but it's also like the Patriots, Byron Leftwich, and then they reached out to Aaron. Aaron Glenn in Detroit. Like Gerard Mayo is. I don't think Dallas is hiring them. I think this is just it's a way
it's a ploy.
Yeah. Oh, look, we interviewed a minority, and I think that's just wrong. He's a pawn in a game. You don't want him. You're wasting his time. And maybe he can get on the staff, but I get the Rooney Rule was put in place as a good. It's got good intentions behind it, but at the same time, like Gerard Mayo just was a first-year head coach that went 4-13 and got fired. He's not getting the job at Dallas.
No, he's not getting the job. But Dion has actually had an interview already.
I just believe but if Gerard Mayo wants to be successful, he needs to go somewhere else, be an actual coordinator on a team.
Linebacker coach, even.
Linebacker coach, go to college. You know what I mean? Start somewhere else. Dion had no college, no coaching experience really. Maybe like kids, but he went to Jackson. Was it Jacksonville?
You said Dion. Dion went to Jackson State from high
Jackson.
school
Yeah, Jackson
and
State.
turned their program around
Yeah,
tenfold,
in
and then did the
Colorado.
same thing in Colorado.
Yes. So Gerard Mayo, it's not crazy to think that Gerard Mayo could go to a college. Like Mike Vrabel went, and he was the linebackers coach at Ohio State before he was anything. You know what I mean? Like go there and learn and develop what you want to be. Now you have a head coaching resume as well. You could get some college. Like you're telling me a team that like Syracuse or Rutgers or one of these teams that like Gerard Mayo's still a name.
Oh, of course he is. I like the linebacker coach idea first. You already know the position. Coach the position. Go to defensive coordinator. Then think about getting a job later on. It will help him. He didn't have that with New England. He was right under Bill last year, and then before that, he was assistant defensive coordinator. But Steve was calling all the plays, and Bill was too. So
Yeah.
you gave the guy no options, and then you take him in as a head coach. It was the wrong move. It's whatever. We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on from him. We're gonna start a new era. I love Gerard Mayo. I'll thank him for everything he did in New England, but um, it's time. It's time for a new product to watch for us.
Yeah, it's a turning of the page. I'm excited to see the future. It's the first time I've been legitimately excited. I was not excited when they brought in Gerard Mayo, just I thought he wasn't ready. I think that was proven to be true. But now, you see Drake May. Drake May can clearly play in the NFL. Again, clean up the turnovers, but he clearly has an arm. He's very athletic. He made some really, really good plays. He made some great, fantastic plays. And then he made some bonehead plays. Like he's a young rookie. He's a 22-year-old kid. So there's something to be excited about. And I really, the more I watch Abdul Carter, the more I like him.
Oh yeah, no. If I get him at 4, I'm happy. I'm a Penn State guy anyway, but I'm happy at 4 if I get him. I'm not complaining they didn't get a tackle. Um, there will be tackles later on in the draft that you could get and work with.
Yeah.
And offensive linemen are easy to find later on too.
Yeah.
It's just I need to be happy with that first pick. If they go for it, and if they go for a wide receiver, and I know you were high on that kid from Arizona. Um,
Pat, I mean, I'm not high on him, but I think he's good.
I wouldn't waste a 4th pick on him though.
I'm not taking a 4th pick on him. I'm pretty sold on Abdul Carter myself. I agree with you. I think there's enough offensive linemen that you can get second round. I mean, past that, Will Campbell has dropped significantly. He's now looking like middle first round to the end of the first round. But past the first round, you have like just looking at it quickly from 46th ranked prospect to the 100th ranked prospect. You have some 8 offensive tackles. You know what I mean? So you can get a good offensive tackle. I still think in the second or third round. I'm pretty sold on Abdul Carter, despite the fact that we want offense. I think when you have a guy like him, like you said, Steve had mentioned, they don't just let anyone wear 11 at Penn State. So, I mean, I'm pretty sold on taking him.
I mean, I was a LeVar Arrington guy when he first came into the league.
Yeah,
I loved LeVar Arrington. I was like, this is my guy right here.
yeah.
I'm a Micah Parsons fan, even though he plays for Dallas. I'm gonna root for this kid to be on New England, hands down.
Yeah, and I think it's smart because I think that now the only other thing is, can you trade back and still get Carter? Could you trade back to say 6 with the Raiders and get Carter? Could you trade back to 8 with Carolina and get Abdul Carter? Like, will he fall that far? I don't know.
I don't think he drops that 5. I honestly don't. You don't know what's even gonna happen with the Giants. So Sanders was talking about wearing those giant cleats before his game and all that stuff, blah, blah. But I saw a crazy scenario that you mentioned before, but it wasn't to the Jets. It was
Vegas.
Dak Prescott
Oh
to
yeah,
the Giants.
yeah.
And that just fixes their quarterback situation right there for them right then. And Dion signs with Dallas.
in a there is 0.0% chance that the New York Giants and Dallas Cowboys trade for a quarterback, and especially Dak. 0.0 on my Richter scale.
I'm gonna say it too, but I heard it and I was like, I mean, that's a way to get Dion there. He gets to draft his kid still. So
Okay, if you're Tennessee, who are you drafting?
quarterback. I'm going
Or
quarterback in Tennessee.
do you take Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders? Because those are the top two right now.
I'm not going Sanders.
So Cam Ward, and that's fine. I'm just doing this as an exercise. So they take Cam Ward, he's off the board. Cleveland has said they have committed to Deshaun Watson. So does Cleveland go Travis Hunter?
Travis Hunter. No. I've actually heard reports that they might go Carter
So
because they don't. Yeah, so they're not going. They're not going him. No.
So let's say they take Abdul Carter. Let's say he goes to New York's on the clock. Does New York take Shedeur Sanders?
And this is where my problems lie with this because I hear things, I see things. They need a quarterback bad. I think they would, but I also heard that, and I don't think this is ever going to happen because he's not. I don't think he's better than Sanders right now. Ewers went into the draft is going into the draft, and they're saying that he could go top 3.
Quinn Ewers?
Yeah, I heard it the other
Let me
day.
tell you something. If you heard that from someone high on meth. If
That's
Quinn,
what that's what I was saying because I looked at it and I'm like, how is this kid that's getting pushed out of Texas not going to a college, going into the draft when he has like a 2 or 3 round grade or something like that? He might be even a 4th round grade. And it just because the quarterback and the reason why I'm saying the quarterback draft is so low this year that you could see any of those players going high.
all right, I'm going to say this. If whoever is out there listening, watching our podcast, and they believe Quinn Ewers could go 3 to the Giants, I want you to comment, and we'll have you on because I do the PFF mock draft. I do 1,000 of them.
Yeah, and he's not anywhere near it.
I'm going to tell you right now, if I'm taking a shit, I'm doing a mock draft. Okay. If I'm sitting on a train going into Boston, I'm doing mock drafts. Quinn Ewers is ranked 101 in all prospects. Shedeur Sanders is ahead of him. Cam Ward's ahead of him. Jalen Milrose ahead of him. Jackson Dart's ahead of him. And Will Howard are ahead of him. In fact, a few picks behind him, 18 picks later, is Curtis Rourke, the kid from Indiana. If Quinn Ewers, anybody out there who watches this, if you believe Quinn Ewers is going top 5, comment and we'll have you on.
I didn't. Well, we'll definitely have him on. I didn't believe it. I heard it that they liked him, and maybe they think they can get him later in the draft, and that would open up the possibility of the Giants getting who? Travis Hunter.
So, if because I've actually heard that the Giants could take Jackson Dart in the 2nd round. So let's say hypothetically it goes Cam Ward, Abdul Carter, and then they take Travis Hunter. What do you want the Pats to do at 4 now? Trade back?
I would want him to trade back.
Like if you're not, I think at this point I am Abdul Carter or trade back and get more picks because as good as I think Stevie said Will Johnson, the cornerback. They needed we just got a cornerback. I like Will Johnson. I don't want another cornerback at number 4. I like Mason Graham, another Michigan guy. Defensive tackle is a point of need. I don't really want a defensive tackle there. I definitely don't want a running back there. I don't want a wide receiver. So at that point, to me, I'm like, all right, let's just trade back, get multiple picks because I think this is kind of a weak draft for specialty positions outside of running back. Running back is the one. I'm getting a running back in the 3rd round, and I don't care if it's Ollie Gordon. I don't care if it's Quinshon Judkins, Travion Henderson. There's so many good running backs. Running backs on a primo position now. 3rd round, whichever one of those guys, Scadabo's there. I'm getting one of them because I'm out on Ramondre Stevenson as well.
I'm out on Ramondre Stevenson too. Yeah, I don't gonna argue that. I would love to get Scatterbo here. That dude just wants to run the football. He got some. He doesn't want to go down, man. He ain't
No,
gonna last long in the NFL, but he don't want to go down.
yeah,
Um, there's a lot of possibilities at running back. The running back is strong now, and I said this before. Now, if we trade back and you don't like tackles that are there right now, and you get tackles in free agency, would you draft Tyler Warren in like the from the 11th to 17th pick?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
I think he's a stud, bro. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a Penn State fan. He's a stud.
So this is if you're not going to get Abdul Carter here, I am all about trading back. Load up. Like I said, I love Ollie Gordon. I liked him at OK State. He was supposed to have a much better year. I think he had 1,400 years the year before. Quinshad Judkins is good. Travion Henderson's good. There's Scatterbo, we just said, excuse me, is good. And then if you want Warren, that's fine. And then start throwing darts at receivers. Like there's plenty of guys. Isaiah Bond, who's super fast.
Super fast. He just said he was declaring.
Yeah, he declared he was a 5-star going to Alabama. He transferred to Texas. Xavier Restrepo from Miami is a good player. There's just Matthew Golden. He was really good. I mean, he had a really good game. Unfortunately, Texas lost to Ohio State. This is obviously fuck the Ohio State. We don't like them here. But there's a number of guys that I think you start taking shots, because if you're not gonna, I don't know if they spend on T. Higgins. T. Higgins seems to be okay in Cincinnati. You know what I mean? I think him, Joe Burrow, and Jamar Chase all said they want to play together.
Yeah, they do. T. Higgins isn't leaving. He said he'd take a pay cut to stay there.
And that team too, they started so slow, and that was the problem, is they just could never recover from that.
No, I agree, and that was my big thing. They started slow. The defense was horrendous. Joe Burrow carried them all season. Him and Jamar Chase.
All right, so we are going to move on from the Patriots, but there's two things that anyone who watches this take from it. One, AJ Brown coming to New England. Kiefer, you heard it here. You'll hear it nowhere else. I promise you that. Kiefer is the only person reporting that one. He doesn't have inside knowledge, but he is optimistic. And you heard it here first. The Patriots can win 9 or 10 games. But let's move on to the playoffs, because we have big playoff matchups tomorrow and Sunday, and this is just a fun time of the year, right?
Oh, it's fantastic. I like some of the match. I really like that Detroit-Washington matchup.
I love that matchup for Detroit. I think Jaden Daniels' rookie season, his Cinderella rookie season, he turned that franchise around. They went from a 4-win franchise to a 4-win team to a 12-win team. He's a huge part of that. He's going to be a superstar. I think they have finally run into the buzzsaw that ends that season.
Oh, without a doubt. I don't disagree. I've been sitting here at night doing Madden simulations.
Yeah.
I'm watching putting it on Madden, making it freaking the most game style play you can, and there's no chance that Washington beats Detroit unless you see some type of miracle you've been seeing in the fourth quarter with Daniels recently. I don't think it's even close.
I'm going to say this before we do anything. Madden, how do you feel about this year's Madden? I haven't got it. I had NCAA. I just bought NBA 2K25 only because it was like 55% off. So I got it for like I think it was like $27 or something, and I'm having a blast with that. But I got Madden every single year, I think, since I was a kid, probably 97, 98, Eddie George.
Yeah, it's about me. Yep.
And this is the first year I didn't get it. I got NCAA.
So I'm a Madden guy as it is.
Yeah.
So I'll play Madden and NCAA football. I play Madden faithfully. It was a little different. There's a little stuff added to the gameplay.
Okay.
So if you wanted to take more control of your passes, kind of like you do in NCAA, you can kind of make them float and flow.
Yeah.
Receivers were big. More stuff to do on defense. It's just a little different, but it's the same game. I like it. I do the superstar thing, and then I'm like, all right, I'm all set. I'm just gonna go build a franchise and see if I can win 5 Super Bowls in a row.
Yeah.
So,
are you a PS5 guy or an Xbox guy?
I am an Xbox guy.
I'm a PS5 guy. It's love to jump on and challenge you.
Anytime you want, buddy.
Well, something once we're up there and we're doing it together, I guess I'll have to just challenge you on Xbox. I hate to beat you on your own system, but
I used to be a PlayStation guy. I used to. I went when I went to Afghanistan. They didn't have any. I got an Xbox because I had a little TV that was like this freaking big to
I,
play a game. To play a game on.
our corrupt government is pushing Xbox on our veterans. I don't appreciate it. If anyone from the government watches this, get our boys PS5 now today.
Oh
Play,
man.
play them overseas, you know.
Yeah, no, but I do watch like simulation games because sometimes Matic can predict some stuff. So I've watched
Yeah.
some stuff. They actually predict the Eagles in the two games I did with the Eagles and the Rams. They have the Rams winning that game, both games.
Is there any chance you simulated the offseason and this is where you're getting your AJ Brown inside info from?
Oh no, I couldn't even trade for him when I tried, to be honest.
Do you take control of the Pats too?
Oh yeah. Most cap room, you're gonna have a shit season. Drake May is actually not bad to play with. He really, if the problem is I play on all Madden and I play on simulation mode. I don't go to that highest mode,
Yeah.
so where it's like in game, but it's
Yeah.
not at that arcade level. So he makes mistakes in the game. He has awesome legs, so you could win games with him. It's just minimalizing the. You got to work 2 years into it before his accuracy is like great.
Can I tell you, I'm such a mental midget. Like I'm a mutant when it comes to anything to do with competition. I have so much vested interest in the Patriots, the Celtics, the Red Sox, the Bruins. I will not play with them on a video game because I can't do it impartially. I will get so mad if I lose with the team that I love that I will just quit out of it. So I won't play. Like I refuse to play with. I won't start franchises with them. I just start it with a random team because I have so much vested interest and I love them so much. To see them lose in a video game irritates me.
Nope, it does to me too. It really gets me mad. I don't quit out because whatever. I lose a game, I lose a game. It's whatever. I mean, there's
I'm
games
a
where I smash teams and there's games where I lose by three. So
Yeah, no, I know this is a unique thing to me. Like I'm absolutely just being ridiculous in my own head, but I can't even take lose, especially when I know I'm in charge of them. I'm like, this is the team that I love, and I'm making them lose. I just won't do it at this point. I'll take a team that's completely terrible, and then I try to build from there. Like in NBA 2K, I'm the Washington Wizards, because they're just absolutely putrid. But I love Jordan Poole, so. But in any event, we're getting way off topic. We'll get back to the playoffs. I'm real interested tomorrow. The Houston KC. I'm really interested.
I want to see what if Houston can beat them.
I I know it's false hope. I really do. I know it's KC, and now it's the playoffs, and Travis Kelsey is going to find the fountain of youth, and Pat Mahomes is going to throw a left-handed pass through his leg for a touchdown. It's inevitable. It's Kansas City is Thanos. They are inevitable. But I'm with you. It's like I have this hope in my heart. It's like Houston can do it this year, and I know I'm going to be let down.
I'm gonna be let down too, probably, and it's whatever. I wanted the game to be like the Ravens versus KC. You know what I mean? So you can see Buffalo case in the Ravens go to the championship game,
Yeah,
the AFC championship game, and to be honest with that, did you hear about the Ravens are favored to win in the snow in Buffalo?
yeah, I did.
That's insane.
I listen. I think this is really good matchups because Washington's fun and Detroit is really good. LA and Philly, I think they got good at the right time. I mean, we saw the Giants do it to the Patriots twice. Getting hot at the right time. Guys are healthy. KC and Houston is a really fun story because I'm not a person who doesn't want to see Kansas City succeed because I don't want them to infringe on the Patriots because as far as I'm concerned, Kansas City being successful doesn't do anything to the Patriots legacy. The Patriots were great too, and Casey's great. But like everybody, I hated the Cowboys. I hated the Bulls. I hated all teams that were good for long periods of time. Just like everybody hated the Patriots. I'm just sick of the Chiefs. So I want to see Houston, the underdog, beat them.
Oh
So
yeah, of course.
I'm real torn with Baltimore Buffalo. I don't even know who I want to win because As far as I'm concerned, they're the two best teams. Like that's the best matchup, and they saved it for Sunday at 6:30, and I couldn't be happier.
Well, they said that this is the factor of who wins the MVP.
Oh yeah,
Whoever wins this game wins MVP.
I, I, it's going to be really hard to beat Josh Allen in the Bills in Buffalo in the snow.
In the
But
snow, the coldest. So what is it? Ravens. This will be the third coldest or the second coldest game they've ever played. Buffalo plays in this regularly.
yeah, I I don't even know. Like my a kid I work with today, we're sitting together and he's talking. He's like, "Who wins, Baltimore or Buffalo?" And I'm like, I I can't. I don't even know who to pick because both defenses have had bad games and have good games, but overall aren't great defenses. You have two fantastic quarterbacks, probably two of the best in the league. Might be 1A and 1B. I mean, Joe Burrow's up there too. You have Derrick Henry, who's an absolute force. If you can't throw in this weather and you're forced to run, you've now evened out the run because the snow doesn't help Derrick Henry.
No, the only thing that helps the Ravens is that they have two different guys that can run the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, Allen can run too, though. So I mean, it's irrelevant. This is the best matchup that could have been for the AFC Championship game that isn't. And I'm torn between it too. I would love to see either of these teams win and beat Kansas City in the next round.
Now, well, I'll say this: if Houston can pull an upset and beat KC, and Buffalo beats Baltimore, Buffalo, as far as I'm concerned, punched their ticket to the Super
The
Bowl.
Super Bowl.
There's no chance that a dome team in Houston is going to Buffalo in fucking January and winning. We saw Houston years and years, and they were always the Patriots' little brother, wearing their Letterman's jackets into Foxborough. They can't play in cold weather.
No, we're playing Texas too much in a dome. It's you're not going to beat Josh Allen in Buffalo in cold weather. Coming from a dome, you're not
No,
going. That's like saying
no.
you're going to beat. That's like saying you're going to beat Drew Brees in the Superdome.
Yeah, exactly. It's just not going to happen. Not going to happen. Before this podcast started, when we were talking, you wanted to do something. So I'll let you take it from there.
So I heard a couple of guys ranking the playoff quarterbacks today, and some of them were like, "Ooh," and some of them were like, "All right, I see that." I want you to rank the last 8 quarterbacks from 8 to 1, 1 being the best.
Okay. No, you want me to start at 8?
Start at 8, go all the way to 1.
Now, okay, so this is the one caveat. Am I doing just this year or culmination of their career?
Nope, just this year, right now, what's in the playoffs?
Okay. Number 8 for me would be I'm torn between two and they're playing each other. I'm gonna put Jalen Hurts at number 8.
Jalen Hurts at number 8.
And number
Okay.
7 would be Matt Stafford for me.
Ooh. Okay.
7 would be CJ Stroud. As I was, sorry.
6 would be CJ Stroud.
6 would be Stroud. 5 will be Pat Mahomes. As hard as it is to say that, I think 5 is Pat Mahomes. I think 4 I would have Jaden Daniels. 3 I would have Goff. 2 I would have, by the slimmest margin, Josh Allen. 1 I have Lamar Jackson.
Ooh, wow, that was a lot different than one of the other guys was saying. Jesus Christ. People were still putting Mahomes in the top 3, which I don't agree with.
Not
And
this
that's why
year.
I was asking you. They were putting him in top 3. They wanted to. I don't care what he did in the playoffs previous years. You saw what happened this year. I don't know if he's going to be able to replicate what he did prior years. I don't put him at 3. So I like the 5. Daniels at 4, I think is I saw more like the 7-6 range just because of experience. CJ Stroud was down at the bottom.
Yep.
Goff was literally listed at 3, and people were just torn between Allen and and um and Lamar Jackson.
It's paper thin between the two of them. It's unbelievable. It's like the old saying goes for gentlemen. I don't think many ladies watch this. I mean, they're about as close as to a cunt here. It is that close between the two of them.
No, I agree. And the Hurts, everybody was down on him. They having him at 7-6, a lot of them, which I agree with. They need to run the ball in order to win that game. They're
Yeah,
going to need Saquon. They're going to need, but I guess, like I said, they're not running with Hurts right now either. They're not passing a lot. You saw that last game, and they're not running a lot with him because they're worried about the concussion thing. And I
yeah,
guess he's a little beat up right now. So that's why I think the Rams can beat the Eagles right now. I just think that their defense is turning on at the right point. But you're right. The two best quarterbacks in this playoff is facing each other in divisional weekend.
yeah. It's Lamar, Josh, and they're 1-2, whatever you want to do. And like I said, I have Goff. Jaden Daniels. I'm just super impressed by Jaden Daniels this year. I think for a young quarterback, he's very poised. He's been very good, and I have confidence in him. Like, I don't think it's like for me, Baltimore Buffalo's a coin flip, right? Uh, LA, Philadelphia. Philadelphia is a favorite, but it's fairly close, right? Kansas City should be a safe bet. If you were betting your money on a money line, KC should win. Washington, it's going to take a miracle to beat Detroit, but I don't count them out because Jaden Daniels has been good.
So I don't count them out either, but I've heard this thing. People are more happy about what this game might turn into because you got Quinn and Campbell playing each other as head coaches. They're saying you could see like three punts all game. They're just gonna go for it on fourth downs like
Yeah,
Madden.
that's the Dan Campbell way. That's the Dan Campbell way.
And Quinn plays risky too. People are talking more about the head coach matchup than they are the team matchup.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really fun game to watch. And I'm just excited for Baltimore Buffalo. That is going to be a great game to watch. It's a 6:30 game. It's going to be fantastic.
Oh yes, it is. It's gonna be a good. Still gonna be a good weekend of football. So I'm glad we got what we have. I hope the Rams do beat the Eagles because I just want to see Detroit mud stomp everybody and go into the Super Bowl because I think they're the best team in the NFC to make the Super Bowl.
I'm still hoping for a Buffalo Detroit Super Bowl. I think it's the best matchup, and I also think it could be really great because then one team finally gets a Super Bowl victory, and the other team has to just continue to live in the misery of not winning. And I think that's just a great storyline.
No, no, it really is. And don't forget, you called Detroit to win the Super Bowl still, buddy. Even though you said the Bengals were going, you called Detroit. So
Listen, the Bengals would be going if Kansas City
didn't
didn't
fuck
throw out
them.
second and third stringers and let Denver in. They made. I'm still mad about that because I could still be alive.
But you know what, Joe? You know, crazy thing is that Pat Mahomes didn't really want to play Joe Burrow. He
No,
can't.
of course not.
He didn't want to. So that's why they did what they did. I call it a total crap move. Like, okay, rest your guys, I get it, but you guys did that so Joe Burrow wouldn't make the playoffs. He was looking like the scariest quarterback going into playoffs.
Yeah, without a doubt. Let's move on to the Celtics. We talked a lot of football because, of course, Mike Vrabel, got hired as the coach, and there's a lot going to be coming down the pipeline. We have the playoffs coming up. That's great. But I do want to get with our last 15 minutes here. I do want to talk some Celtics. I want to, and maybe we can bleed into Red Sox Bruins. Celtics 7-7 in their last 14, 500 basketball. I know are they still winning right now? I know you're watching.
66-55.
Okay. Are you concerned or no?
I'm not totally concerned. I think they're coasting. They got that, like you said, we were talking about earlier. They got that championship caliber mentality. They're coasting. Brown's not playing every game, but he's not playing. He doesn't look like he's in the games right now compared to last year, if that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
last year, he looked like he was more hungry than he is this year. And Tatum actually leads league the team in almost every statistical category.
Yeah.
So he's playing good. Porzingis still looks a little off. He's having a good game tonight, but he still looks a little off, not like fully healed yet type stuff. Derek White's been a little bit low. Peyton Pritchard's hit a cold streak in this 14 game stretch. I'm not worried. I don't think that a lot of teams can still beat them in a 7 game series, but I think the only team that would scare me at all right now and anything is OKC.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry. No, I'm with you. OKC is super talented. I love SGA. He's just really good. I'm with you. I think they're coasting. This is a team with championship DNA. And this is probably a overstatement from a Celtic fan, but I do believe that Jason Tatum is one of the best all around players in the NBA.
Oh,
I think he means
I agree.
and right now they have him, I think, fifth in the race for MVP, and
Yep.
that's fine. People will still tell you he's soft. He's not great. He's not this. I don't think you get to fifth spot in the MVP voting if you're not good. The kid is an animal. He means so much to that team. If you took him off that team, they're not nearly as good. They're not a team that's 28-12. They're not 7-7 over their last 14. They're probably worse off. I think the kid is an absolute stud.
No, I agree. They were talking about possible people getting traded today on Felger and Maz. Like
Oh,
who like should we trade Brown and try to get somebody to add stuff? And I'm like, they're jumping the gun. Like,
Are you out?
yeah, they were a bunch of people calling in talking about stuff, and they were talking about it was their Free Friday or whatever it was.
Agenda Free Friday, yeah.
And it was like I wouldn't trade anybody. Like I wouldn't do it.
They're coming off an NBA championship. They played more basketball than anyone outside of Dallas, because they played them. This is a team with championship DNA. You just won. You want to split up your two stars? People, this is the Celtics fans, Boston fans in general, I think, they have a case of the sky is falling. It pump the brakes. They're 28-12. I mean, come on, split up. There's nobody on this team that they should be moving. If anything, you can dump some bench players and sign some veterans for the league minimum.
Oh yeah, you could even find another piece to add and stuff like that. But you don't need to trade anybody. I'm not skimming. Tatum right now got 20 points already in the first half. Like, like the team is good, and they don't need to try right now. You might see after the All Star break that they turn it on a lot more to show that all right, we were coasting in the beginning. Here it is now to show people like, all right, you think we're going to lose in the first round of the Cavs or second round of the Cavs, you're out of your mind type stuff. So the coasting is okay. It's whatever. I was adamant on the beginning of the season. They're going to lose 5 games in the first 30 games or something like that. And it's whatever. I mean, it happens. I'm not scared.
There's no chance. There's zero chance. There's no chance. Anyone who's listening from Cleveland, they're 34-6. Cleveland is not a 34-6 team. They're not going to make. They're not going to keep that pace up. They'll slow down. They're good, but if Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley and Darius Garland and those guys scare you, believe me when I tell you, they're not beating the Celtics in a 7-game series. We saw them play last year, and I know there was injuries. They're not going to beat the Celtics in a 7-game series. They're not as good. They're not as talented. Again, they're coasting. I'm with you 100%. I think that Celtics fans just have a case of the sky is falling. When things don't go perfect, you're in second place in the East. You're 6 games back. You're 28-12. You have a plus 8.8 point differential night in and night out. Pump the brakes on talking about trading anyone. This team is so talented and they're young. Your 2 superstars are still in their mid to late 20s.
And they're signed all for the next 5 years.
Yeah. Porzingis, you don't even need Porzingis right now. He's a guy that you could, I mean, I don't even know who you would want to trade for right now. Like, what
No.
talk?
I don't know who you'd want to trade for. I don't. It's irrelevant at that point because again, like I said, they're coasting. I have a feeling that you're going to see them coast to the All Star break, and then they're going to go on a tear and still get the number 1 seed in the thing. Because I do believe home court matters in the NBA. I truly do, and I think that they're not going to settle for second or third. They want that first. They want that number 1 seed.
Yeah, I'm just being not even difficult, but I know you don't want this is what I'm trying to say, but like, who do people want? Obviously they want to keep Tatum. They don't want to get rid of Tatum, but who is a likely person you could trade for? because in the NBA, there's never a superstar for superstar trade. It's always you get a superstar, you give away draft picks and bench players. So if people are saying like, oh, you need to break them up, like trade Jaylen Brown, who do you think you'd get in return, and who do you want in return? Like, obviously, like no team that's contending is trading with you, right? Like you're not going to go to the Cavs and say, "Do you want Jaylen Brown? We'll take Donovan Mitchell off your hands." You're not going to call Dallas and say, "We'll take Luka or Kyrie, and you can have." Like it just the NBA doesn't work like that.
No,
So if you're trading Jaylen Brown, you're likely getting picks back, or you're trading them for you're getting a lower grade because now you're going for a guy who I like. I like Jordan Poole. But if like the Wizards, that's a trade for them. It's like, sure, we'll build around Jaylen Brown. Then, do you want Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma? Fuck no.
not even close. I don't. Maybe this fuels Brown to go play harder because he played harder when he heard about the trade rumors last year or the year before that and stuff.
Yeah.
So who knows what it is? I don't trade anybody. I don't trade one person on this fucking team. Go to the playoffs with what you got. Let's see what happens.
Now, do you believe that Jimmy Butler's finally happy in Miami again? Did you see that?
No, I didn't. What?
Jimmy Butler has now come out and saying he's going to start, and for the future, he said, "I'm back." He's back with Miami. He loves them. All is right in Jimmy Butler's head again.
What's up with that guy?
No idea. But yeah, he's back. He's happy. He wants to stay in Miami now. I no clue. I don't buy it for a second. Just the way I didn't buy Brandon Ayuk going back to San Francisco was a happy marriage. When there's smoke, there's fire.
Hey, listen, Jimmy. If you play for us again, we'll make a great attempt to get Giannis. All right, we'll get a great attempt to do it.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing they can do, and they're 20-19, right? They're on the cusp of not even making the playoffs.
That's what I'm saying. Jimmy, we're gonna get you a superstar. It's gonna happen, buddy. That's what they're promising him right now.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't buy it. I don't buy it for 1 second. But as far as again back to the Celtics, yeah, you don't move anyone because those are the guys you'd be getting at this point. You're getting disgruntled superstars on bad teams. You could make the lateral move. One of the ones I would think is like, do you want Zion Williamson, who's on the Pelicans and they stink? Of course not.
No.
You know what I mean? There's Utah. Who do you want? Walker Kessler? Do you want anyone in Utah? Portland is a fucking shit show. I don't want anyone from that. San Antonio's 19-20 again. They're not giving you Victor Wembanyama. So who do you want? You want Sochin? There's no there who I want. Golden State. There's an interesting one. They'll never, never, never part with Steph Curry. But would you take Steph Curry straight up?
For Brown?
Yeah. It's a completely illogical trade. Golden State will never make it. And obviously Steph Curry is better than Jaylen Brown. But let's say Golden State said, we want to get younger. We're sitting at 500. We'll build around Jaylen Brown and we'll give you Steph Curry. Would you do that straight up?
I don't want to use the youth of everything. So no, I wouldn't do it.
All right. Listen, I'm just trying to come up with anyone who's a non-playoff team. I wish Stevie was here for Jimmy Butler being happy in Miami because I would love to hear what he has to say. But 15-4, the Philadelphia 76ers. You want Joel Embiid?
Fuck no.
Maxey?
No.
Paul George?
Fuck no.
All right. Brooklyn Nets. What about this? Interesting. Jaylen Brown straight up for Ben Simmons.
No.
I know. I'm kidding. That would never.
Oh, God, no.
We are about to wrap this thing up. Anything you want to mention about the Red Sox or the Bruins? Because we didn't get to.
Sox, definitely. Vladdy wants to play here, buddy. He and I heard that the Mets are going to try to make a proposal soon to try to get him to go play there.
Yeah, Pete Alonso.
Yeah, but I don't think that happens. I think he wants to come to Boston. So I'm happy about that. What's that kid? Sasuke Rokisaki or whatever his name is?
Yeah.
The pitcher. He just signed with the Dodgers.
I did see that. So if you're the Red Sox, I'm with you. We're going to go over a little bit here. Tristan Casas, it's time to move on from him if you can get Vlad Guerrero. I don't care what it takes at this point. Like, I know that their pitching has injuries, but I like Walker Buehler. I like Garrett Crochet. I like putting Bayo at the end of that rotation. You still have Houck here. You have Giolito coming back. I like Patrick Sandoval. I like him. I don't think he's great, but I think he's a good sixth starter, and he can be in your bullpen. Liam Hendricks is going to be healthy. But if you can get Vlad Guerrero and all you're giving up on your major league roster is Tristan Casas, and then whoever they want from your farm system, give them a couple top 5 prospects, you go out and do it, and then you sign Guerrero. That you want to put buzz back in that stadium, that's the move you need to make.
I've been on Vladdy since last trade deadline.
Yes, and I remember that, and I'm with you. It's that he is 100%. I am on board. Tristan Casas, and if it doesn't take any more major league talent, because they just brought back Durant too.
Yeah, they did. So you would have to trade a couple of your top prospects.
I'm fine with
You,
it.
you don't want Anthony. I don't think you want to trade Anthony, but you could trade that other kid, the shortstop,
Marcelo Mayer.
Mayer, and a couple other ones. I'm for it. Even if they wanted Anthony, I'd let him take him. I just heard Anthony is a stud. I haven't watched much of him. I just heard he's a legit ball player. But I would take Vladdy in a heartbeat. I've wanted him since last year. I thought they should have made the move. To hear him say that he wants to play in Boston multiple times during the offseason and that he would have came here, especially if Soto came here. I am for the Vladdy trade. Give me some Vladdy in my life.
So I would be very comfortable. I would love to keep Roman Anthony, but I would absolutely trade if I'm meant getting here. But if I can move Tristan Casas, if I can move Marcelo Mayer, and listen, can I swindle him and get rid of Masataka Yoshida as well? I'm fine with that.
I was down for that too.
But past that, I mean, I don't really know what else it would take, who else they like in your farm system. But yeah, Marcelo, they're flush with guys who play shortstop in their farm system, especially in their top 5-10. So whoever they want, if you can keep Roman Anthony, great. But I'm not married to prospects only because prospects, we don't know what they're going to be when they reach the majors. I know what Guerrero is.
Oh, I know what Vladdy is, and I know Vladdy would mash in Fenway.
Oh my God. It's to be honest, it's like the second coming of Manny.
Manny or even David Ortiz. That
I
it's
say
just
Manny because he's a righty.
well, I say that, but I understand, I hear that, but I don't think I honestly, in Manny's prime, Manny was he was different, man. I can't ever compare people to Manny, and Ortiz was amazing too. I just think he's gonna hit more like Ortiz did when Ortiz came here compared to Manny hitting 340 and 40 to 5 home runs.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like just abusing the monster,
Oh,
we want that power right-handed bat with him and Devers, 3-4 or 2-3, whatever you want.
insane.
That's what I want in my life, and I'm really, really hoping for it.
Now, if we got rid of Yoshida and we got Vladdy, would you sign Bregman to be third base and put him at D and put him at and put Devers at DH?
If Devers wants to be a DH, absolutely. If Vladdy wants to be a DH, I would let Vladdy. Like I'm paying Vladdy, dude. The guy is an absolute stud. He's still in his 20s, so yeah, I would. If you moved Yoshida and then you could sign Bregman, absolutely. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't.
Well, they would talk about Bregman moving to second if we signed him. So I didn't think if we got Vladdy, if that opens up the DH for Devers, you could sign Bregman as third, and then you added another bat.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, 100%. Especially because I think Bregman's probably a better third baseman too. I would have to look at the numbers, but I know that Rafi's not fantastic in the field. But yeah, 100%. I'm all for it.
Okay.
I want the Red Sox to start being the Red Sox again. I want to stop being Tampa and Oakland, who is no longer Oakland. But and then a quick thought too. Boston Bruins, as bad as they've played, they're a wild card spot right now still. Does this team have anything to make a run?
Fire Sweeney.
It's time to fire Sweeney, move on. I think they could still make a run. There's still some talent on that roster. It's just they probably should make a move. I don't know the move to make at the trade deadline, but I'm all for investing. And, unfortunately for them, they haven't been great. I think they just came off a 2, 4, 6. They lost 6 in a row before winning their last 2. But
Yeah.
2 are impressive wins. They beat Tampa and they beat Florida. So if they don't drop those 6 in a row and they split them 3-3, I mean, we're talking about a team that would be 25-16 and 5. So they're not far off from being a good team. They need to hit their stride together, but I do think it's a team invest. I hate watching losing. We just had to deal with the Patriots for a shitty few months. It's like, just invest in the team, because I'm going to start paying attention now. Once the NFL is over, I'll start really paying attention to basketball and hockey.
In hockey, yeah, same with me.
I have a hard time. The NFL, it rules me. So,
My favorite sport, buddy.
Yeah, you and me. So it's like I love the Red Sox. I love
Oh,
baseball.
I love them too.
After the NFL is over, I'll start really paying attention. I'll be watching a lot more Bruins and Celtics.
Yes, sir.
All right, now, well, listen, this has been another great episode of the Boston Boys Sports Podcast. Hopefully, we'll have the 3 of us on again soon. But looking forward to all the playoff games coming up this weekend. Do you want to put any picks together before we jump off here?
Yeah, let's put some picks. Let's go. I got Detroit. I'm gonna go LA, and then I'm gonna say KC just because it's KC.
Okay.
And I can't pick between Buffalo and Ravens, buddy. I really can't. I could see either one of them going.
Give me your 14 parlay, though. I want it. You got KC, Detroit.
I got KC, Detroit, LA, and I'm going Buffalo because they're at home.
All right. I am going to go KC, Detroit, Philly, Baltimore.
Ooh.
All right.
In Buffalo. They're the favorite anyway in Buffalo in the snow. So if you called that, I'll give you props.
Listen, Lamar is finally going to get over the hump this year. I'm calling it. And then he's going to beat KC. And then as much as I want to see Bills Lions, I think we're going to see Ravens Lions.
See, I'm not going to hate Baltimore because they got my boy King Henry over there. So
I like Derek. I like Lamar. So, All right. Well, listen, as always, we are partnered with Jonesman for Sports. We make sports better. Check them out on X. Check them out on Instagram. Check them out on YouTube. Great content every single day. Also, follow Boston Boys Sports at Hub Boys Sports on X. We're doing big things as well. And make sure you like, you comment, you subscribe. And again, if you believe Quinn Ewers is a top 5 pick in the NFL draft, please comment, and we will have you on the show so you can plead your case and take all the drugs you need to before you plead that case, because you're going to need them all. Beard, it was a pleasure and an honor as always, sir.
As always, buddy. I'll see you later.
All right, take it easy, bud.